Sometimes, the greatest breakthroughs aren't planned. They're stumbled upon by accident. From a moldy Petri dish that saved millions, to a strange hiss in a radio antenna that revealed the birth of the universe. Today, we're counting down the top 10 scientific discoveries made by accident. The lucky twists of fate that changed history, medicine, physics, and the way we live. You won't believe how close some of these discoveries came to being thrown in the trash. Let's begin. At number 10, plastic, bakelite. Leo Baekeland, 1907. In the early 1900s, chemist Leo Baekeland was trying to create a synthetic substitute for shellac, a natural resin used in electrical insulation. What he got instead was something far more useful, a durable, moldable, heat-resistant material that wouldn't conduct electricity or degrade easily. He called it bakelite, and it became the world's first true synthetic plastic. At the time, Baekeland didn't fully realize it, but this invention sparked a revolution, launching the modern plastics industry and changing manufacturing forever. From radios to telephones to kitchenware, bakelite was everywhere. It was strong, cheap, and could be mass-produced. It was the start of our plastic age, and it all began with a chemistry experiment gone slightly off script. At number 9, pacemaker, Wilson Greatbatch, 1956. In 1956, American engineer Wilson Greatbatch was building a device to record heart sounds. But by mistake, he grabbed the wrong resistor. When he powered it on, instead of recording a heartbeat, it produced electrical pulses, steady and rhythmic, like a heartbeat itself. That mistake led to the invention of the first implantable cardiac pacemaker, a device that would go on to save millions of lives. Greatbatch refined the design, and by 1960, the first human implant was successful. His accidental discovery became a medical miracle. Sometimes, the wrong part can lead to the right breakthrough, especially when you look closer rather than toss it aside. All thanks to an error and a curious mind. At number 8, smallpox vaccine, Edward Jenner, 1796. In the late 1700s, smallpox was one of the deadliest diseases on Earth. But English physician Edward Jenner noticed something strange. Milkmaids who caught cowpox, a much milder disease, seemed to be immune to smallpox. In 1796, Jenner decided to test the idea. He took pus from a cowpox blister and deliberately infected an 8-year-old boy. Later, he exposed the boy to smallpox. Miraculously, the child didn't get sick. That accidental observation by Jenner led to the world's first vaccine, and eventually, the eradication of smallpox in 1980. What began as a local folk belief turned into a medical revolution, kickstarting modern immunology and saving hundreds of millions of lives. All thanks to a cow and a question. At number 7, anesthesia, Crawford Long and William Morton, 1840s. Imagine having surgery while fully awake and feeling everything. That was reality, until anesthesia changed the world. In the early 1800s, recreational use of ether and nitrous oxide, aka laughing gas, was common at gas parties. People noticed that under its influence, they didn't feel pain, even from injuries. American surgeon Crawford Long observed this and used ether during a tumor removal in 1842, but he didn't publish his results. Later, William Morton publicly demonstrated ether's use in surgery in 1846, making headlines and pushing anesthesia into mainstream medicine. This accidental observation at a party led to a transformation in medical history. Surgeries became safer, less traumatic, and far more survivable. Sometimes, a laugh really is the best medicine. At number 6, insulin, Frederick Banting and Charles Best, 1921. In the early 20th century, a diabetes diagnosis was essentially a death sentence. But a groundbreaking and partly accidental discovery changed that forever. While trying to understand the pancreas, Canadian surgeon Frederick Banting hypothesized that a hormone secreted by certain pancreatic cells regulated blood sugar. Working with student Charles Best, they removed the pancreas from dogs to study its effects, resulting in severe diabetic symptoms. They then injected the dogs with an extract from pancreatic tissue, and miraculously, the symptoms reversed. This extract was insulin. Their work, refined with help from biochemist James Collip, quickly led to human trials. It worked and saved lives. A hunch, a few lab dogs, and an accidental success led to one of the most important medical breakthroughs in history. At number 5, microwave oven, Percy Spencer, 1945. In 1945, engineer Percy Spencer was testing magnetrons for radar equipment when he noticed something strange. A chocolate bar in his pocket had melted. Spencer didn't ignore it. Intrigued, he placed popcorn kernels near the device. They popped. He then tried an egg. It exploded. That's when it clicked. Microwave radiation could cook food. Spencer had unintentionally discovered a whole new cooking method. He and his team quickly built the first microwave oven prototype, called the Radarinch. It was bulky, expensive, and taller than most people, but it worked. Over time, the microwave became smaller, cheaper, and eventually a kitchen essential around the globe. All because one man paid attention to a melted snack during a radar test. At number 4, radioactivity, Henri Becquerel, 1896. Henri Becquerel wasn't searching for radioactivity. He was chasing X-rays. Inspired by Wilhelm Röntgen's discovery, Becquerel began experimenting with phosphorescent materials and photographic plates. hoping to find a similar effect powered by sunlight. He placed uranium salts on a covered photographic plate and left it in sunlight. The results were promising, but then came the twist. One cloudy day, he stored the uranium in a drawer next to the plates. Days later, when developed, the plate was fully exposed, even without any light. It turned out that uranium emitted its own invisible rays, no sunlight required. He had accidentally uncovered the phenomenon of radioactivity. This unexpected discovery laid the foundation for nuclear physics, cancer treatments, and atomic energy, all sparked by a cloudy day. At number 3, X-rays. Wilhelm Röntgen, 1895. In 1895, German physicist Wilhelm Röntgen was experimenting with cathode ray tubes when he noticed something strange. A fluorescent screen across the room started glowing, even though it wasn't in the tube's path. He had unintentionally discovered invisible rays that could pass through objects. Curious, Röntgen placed various materials in front of the rays: wood, books, metal, and finally, his wife's hand. What appeared on the photographic plate was astonishing: the bones of her hand and her wedding ring. Röntgen called them X-rays, with X standing for unknown. Within months, doctors began using X-rays to look inside the human body without surgery. It revolutionized medicine and won Röntgen the first Nobel Prize in Physics in 1901, a scientific accident that literally changed how we see ourselves. Before we reveal the top 2, here are 5 accidental discoveries that may not have cracked the top 10, but still left a lasting impact on science, technology, and even society. Velcro, George de Mestral. After a walk with his dog in 1941, Mestral noticed burrs sticking to fur and clothing. This inspired him to invent Velcro, now used worldwide. Teflon, Roy Plunkett. While attempting to create a new refrigerant in 1938, Plunkett accidentally created Teflon, later revolutionizing non-stick cookware and even aerospace engineering. Saccharin, Konstantin Fahlberg. In 1879, Fahlberg forgot to wash his hands before dinner and tasted something sweet. He'd accidentally discovered saccharin, the first artificial sweetener. Safety glass, Eduard Benedictus. In 1903, a drop glass flask didn't shatter thanks to a coating of plastic nitrate. Benedictus realized the potential, leading to modern safety glass. While developing a strong adhesive, Spencer Silver accidentally made a weak, reusable glue. Years later, Art Fry used it for bookmarks, creating the iconic post-it notes that revolutionized offices worldwide. At number 2, cosmic microwave background radiation. Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson, 1964. In 1964, radio astronomers Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson were working with a massive antenna in New Jersey, trying to detect radio signals from the Milky Way. But something was wrong. An annoying, persistent noise interfered with their data, no matter where they pointed the antenna. They tried everything: checked the electronics, cleaned out pigeon droppings, and even removed nesting birds. Still, the static remained. What they'd stumbled upon wasn't a malfunction. It was the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, the cosmic microwave background radiation. Without knowing it, they had discovered the strongest evidence that the universe began in a massive explosion. The discovery earned them the 1978 Nobel Prize in Physics and transformed cosmology forever, an accident that revealed the birth of the universe. At number 1, penicillin, Alexander Fleming, 1928. In 1928, Alexander Fleming returned from vacation to find a Petri dish of Staphylococcus bacteria he had accidentally left out. But something strange had happened. A mold had grown, and around it, the bacteria had completely vanished. That mold, Penicillium notatum. What Fleming had accidentally discovered was the world's first true antibiotic, penicillin. Though it took over a decade for others like Howard Florey and Ernst Chain to turn it into a usable medicine, this accidental find would go on to save hundreds of millions of lives. Penicillin launched the antibiotic revolution, transforming modern medicine and making previously deadly infections easily treatable. From a forgotten Petri dish to the greatest medical breakthrough in history, this is why penicillin tops our list. Sometimes, the greatest breakthroughs aren't born in labs filled with planning. They're discovered by accident, by curious minds who noticed the unexpected. From saving lives to revealing the secrets of the universe, these discoveries show that serendipity can shape science just as much as logic and reason. If you enjoyed this journey through history's most accidental breakthroughs, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more mind-blowing science and history videos every week. And let us know in the comments, which accidental discovery surprised you the most. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.